a simple plan to reduce or address school shootings in the current public school system. Now, this can be done in the private school system, and it will be done in the competitive school board system I'm proposing, and it would be done a lot better when we have competitive police departments, and the whole 9 yards. But let's just talk about in the current system what we could do to address school shootings. Now, I did this on the other video called Competitive School Boards as addressing the same issue. So we'll go over some of the same slides, then expand it a little bit more. So what I want to do is cross-train teachers and police to be both. So we'll put teachers through Police Academy, maybe during their summer break. There's a lot of models that can be done. Put the police through teaching training, teaching classes, so they can teach. So you're going to have alternating teachers and police in many models. So let's talk about that. Give most of the substitute teacher budget to the police. So you have the police department with a lot of police officers trained to be teachers as well. So you give a large portion of the substitute teacher budget to the police department, and they'll supply the substitute teachers. So there'll be policemen in the classroom, probably plain clothes, not with the police uniform, but they'll be there when things happen, armed and the like. And that's a whole nother issue, how you deal with weapons that the police officers hold. There'll be protocols that can be hotly debated, but what's the first thing that happens when a school shooting happens or a threat? You have literally dozens of police officers with weapons coming into the situation. So to have a police officer who is trained in the school already they'll address the situation a lot faster. So many models could be tried. The cross-trained police officer / teacher could alternate. So you can have some that you have, let's say, 2 roles: one police officer, one teacher, and they can swap daily, or they can swap weekly, or swap monthly, or they can work summer job as a police officer during their summer break. A lot of models could be tried. You could have a teacher who's a teacher who teaches 3 days a week for, let's say, physics or one certain subject, and it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Another teacher, the other officer on their other day off, can teach, let's say, another subject Tuesday and Thursday. So that can happen. So you're the only teacher teaching that one subject, so you're consistent. But on your off days, you are working as a cop, working full uniform, fully armed, out there in police cops doing your patrols and like. Cross-trained teachers and police could work full-time as teachers with full police powers. So yeah, no doubt about it. Now, there's no doubt the budget will have to go up for this. You would have to pay for that police training. You would have to pay for that teacher classes. And most of the time, you probably will have to incentivize people to do this, to do the double duty, and that would probably be an extra $10,000 a year or whatever. But that amount of money would have such a big benefit to this problem. And they can do regular police stuff. So any students who get into regular fights or stealing or theft or abuse of teachers or abuse of bullying or whatever the case may be, they can use their real police powers in that role while they're at the school. And there'll be many protocols to go along with that. You could place a police desk job in the school. Take over one classroom and put a police officer who's on desk duty to be located in the school. That way they're close by when something happens and they can go address the problems real quick. Police could be on the coaching staff of many sports. That's where you're going to get a lot of, they'll be there around the students and probably getting a lot better rapport, because if you know the police officer, because you were in school with them, then you know that they're not out there just to get you. And that's one of the main complaints that some demographics have within the communities that have a higher violent crime rate. they think the police are out there to get them. But if they're coaches, they're in the schools, you see them all the time, you have a better rapport with them, hopefully. It could at least help. This can include many jobs in or around the school, such as maintenance, administration, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, groundkeepers. Police are often looking for part-time jobs, so allow some of these jobs to be their part-time jobs. So it could be 30 hours as a police officer, 10 hours as within the school system. It could be 40 hours as a cop, and then part-time getting more hours. So there's many models that can be tried. But the main thing is, let's get the police officers in or around the schools to be there to deter first, or address the situation quicker because they're on scene. The simple idea about cross-training could expand to many professions or office situations. So big office building, put some of those people through police academy and allow them to be maybe weekend cops, part-time cops, either in a full police academy or a modified police academy, so they can carry and be there when necessary and to address certain needs. Because there's office building shootings as well, not just school shootings. There's a lot of issues where there's a shooting in a crowded spot. Having double the trained police force would be very important without necessarily increasing the budget that much. So because many are part-time, let's say you have 10 people full-time, you can switch to 8 people full-time and about 6 or 7 people part-time with the same amount of budget. And whatever size police force you have, just do the numbers, and you can take about 70%, maybe 60-70% and keep it full-time cops, and have the other 30%. But now that's probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 times greater number of police officers for that part-time. So instead of having 3 full-times, expand that out to, let's say, 20 or 30 part-timers. But the model could be all over the place. These could be in regular office buildings and hospitals. I know they have their private security, but they're usually not up to police total police officer powers. It's not up to that. And it would be nice to have that. You can still have security guards at a lower level, but have police officers there as well to allow faster response time. And this will also be allowed to have a surge in police. So if you have 10 people in your police force versus 20, well, during surge hours, you can call them all in. There'll be protocols and standby type of positions. Again, police budget might have to go up a little bit, but it allows for 20 police officers to get out there versus 10 when the situation calls for it. Yes, protocols will be needed to work out. Be worked out. Many protocols. They'll be highly debated. Many models will be tried in different areas. Competitive policing would allow many models to exist without the monopoly control. So the competitive policing will allow this to happen a lot faster, and lot more experimentation to happen. Competitive policing has some hierarchy. Don't get me wrong. Competitive policing is not just getting rid of all the monopoly. There's a hierarchy, there's a structure, there's monopoly when it's necessary. So they'll still have a chief of police that anybody in the competitive police force will have to sit there and obey and do what they're told and fall under that hierarchy when the situation requires it by protocol and policy. A lot more to see at Haley2024.org. Until the next video.